love bombing can be a sign of abuse. That's the headline from a New York Times piece by Melinda Wenner-Moyer, and it's a phrase that might sound intense, love bombing, but it describes something that starts out feeling anything but. It starts with flowers, with constant texts, with someone telling you you're perfect, the one they've been waiting for their whole life. That's what happened to Sue Knutson. She was in her late teens, living in Sioux Falls, when an acquaintance gave her his number. They started dating, and he praised her incessantly. Bought her flowers, took her on lavish dates, texted throughout the day just to check on her. At the time, she didn't know there was a name for this. But what she was experiencing was love bombing, a pattern of over-the-top affection and attention that clinicians say can be a prelude to emotional manipulation and control. The term itself goes back to the 1970s, used by the Unification Church, a South Korean religious movement critics have described as a cult. Members would shower potential recruits with warmth and praise to get them to join. Today, the phrase is commonly used in dating to describe that same intensity at the start of a romance. In casual conversation, people might call it an ick, someone coming on too strong, or a setup for ghosting. But psychologists who study intimate partner abuse say it's more dangerous than that. Romani Dervasula, a clinical psychologist and professor emerita at California State University, Los Angeles, puts it this way: love bombing is a form of idealization and seduction that becomes the prelude to emotional manipulation and control. Chitra Raghavan, a psychologist at John Jay College of Criminal Justice who studies power dynamics and abuse, says there aren't clear statistics on how closely love bombing is linked to abuse. But she adds, "I've noticed it in almost every domestic violence case I've had, that there was a period of love bombing." So what does it actually look like? Raghavan says it often takes the form of excessive compliments that imply the love bomber is the only person who can see how wonderful the other person is. Something like, "You are really incredible, and no one has seen how incredible you are, but I am seeing it." It suggests a uniqueness that no one else has recognized, only the love bomber. And these compliments often play to the recipient's deepest vulnerabilities. If someone worries they aren't attractive, the love bomber tells them how beautiful they are. If they feel they aren't smart enough, they're told they're brilliant. For Sue Knutson, the shift happened over time. Her boyfriend began monitoring her texts and calls. He challenged her when she talked to other friends. He made her feel as if she had to do what he said or she'd lose him and end up alone. That's the pattern clinicians warn about. The intense affection isn't love, it's a tactic to gain control. And recognizing the difference between healthy early courtship and love bombing can be difficult, because on the surface, they can look a lot alike. But the key, experts say, is what comes after. If the affection is followed by isolation, monitoring, and demands for compliance, that initial intensity wasn't romance, it was a setup. That's the story from the New York Times. Thanks for listening.